Here's a question that I've been grappling with, and a lot of us have been grappling with, to try and understand actually what happened in the Shabbos Project. Because in a matter of months, a global movement took root amongst people in 465 cities and 65 countries across 8 languages, where there was so much excitement to make the Shabbos Project happen. And the power of that experience happened in a matter of months. How do we begin to explain the unprecedented success of the Shabbos Project? And since then, we've been trying to analyze it and came across a very interesting study led by Professor James March, a very noted and important academic who analyzed the essence of human behavior. What is it that motivates people? How do people make decisions in life? Because the conventional wisdom is that human beings are basically selfish and that people make decisions based on what will advance their own best self-interest. And he says that model is what one could call the consequence model. But he came up with another model because he was analyzing voting patterns in the United States and found something very interesting. And that is that people voted with parties that did not necessarily advance their own best self-interest. And this is what he found in his studies, that you could find Silicon Valley billionaires who were voting for the Democratic Party, even though their taxes would probably be less under the Republicans. And then an auto mechanic in Oklahoma was voting for the Republican Party, even though the Democratic Party was promising him health insurance. So how is that explained? And so March came up with a whole new model of explaining human decision making. And that is what he called the identity model. And that is, people make decisions not necessarily what is based on their own best self-interest, but they ask another kind of a question: who am I? What is my identity? And that identity model is fascinating and actually opened our eyes. All of a sudden, we had a way of explaining the unprecedented success of the Shabbos Project. Because what is it about the Shabbos Project that moved people in such a profound way? One element of it is certainly the notion of identity, Jewish identity, that people responded, I am Jewish and therefore I have a connection to Shabbos. And Jewish identity is thousands and thousands of years old, going back almost 4,000 years to Abraham and Sarah, the founding father and mother of the Jewish people. We are the children of Abraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel and Leah. We are their children. What does it mean to be a Jew? To be a Jew means to be the descendants of our forefathers and mothers who established the Jewish people. And it means to be the descendants of those who stood at Mount Sinai when we were given as a people our divine purpose and mission. What has been so powerful about the Shabbos Project experience is that as we look around from country to country, we get the sense that Jews are doing this all over in these 465 cities, and that sense of shared identity as brothers and sisters connected to one another and what it means to be a Jew has been so powerful and so moving and so special in the most fundamental way. And that shared identity is an identity that began with Abraham and Sarah and that was crystallized for us when we received our divine mission at Mount Sinai, and it is part of the very heart and soul of what it means to be a Jew. And so when the word of the Shabbos Project went out to the world, it stirred within each and every single one of us a very powerful response, because all of a sudden the words of Zachor et Yom HaShabbat, which is part of Jewish identity and our connection to one another and our connection to Avram and to Sarah and to every Jew around the world, was touched at the very essence of our beings. And that powerful emotional spiritual response is what drove the Shabbos Project throughout the world.